What's happening, everybody? It's another episode of The Next Fix. As I was just telling Matt, we're a delightful bunch of reformed scumbags over here, and I'm glad to have this guy be a part of it. It's Matt von Boecklin.
That's correct.
Boecklin. Yep.
How you doing, Ryan?
And so I'm doing good, brother. And yourself?
Yeah, good. Real good.
Yeah?
Real good.
So I like I was telling Matt, like I come into these things rather inquisitive and ignorant, which is the majority of my life anyway. So he's going to share with us again where we always start, right? To the rock bottom moments. And so Matt, let us know, when did this shit hit the fan for you, brother?
All right. So for reference, I've been addicted to cigarettes, booze, tramadol, and kratom extracts most recently. So there's been a variety of times, but in preparation for this, I went down and looked at my calendar and I isolated a key day back in 2017 where shit hit the fan, and it was either fix my shit up or just like continue down that slope. February 13th, it was a Monday in 2017, 39 now, so I was 33. I was
nice
living.
Math. I like
Yeah,
the
I
math.
know, right?
He's like,
On camera?
I don't really know if it's accurate, to be honest.
Yeah,
So
don't
anyways,
check it. Don't check it.
All right. So it's 2017 on a Monday.
On a Monday, I was living in Nairobi. It's the capital city of Kenya, where I had been living for 2 months. I was living there, staying with a friend of mine who had invited me to come. What? Man, this is crazy. I had very much intended to be spending all of my time in Switzerland because a few months before that, I had met a girl from Switzerland while I was living in Mexico. I used to work in international development, do consultancies for aid programs. So I would go from country to country to country. It wasn't that weird for me to be in Mexico. I was taking Spanish lessons. I met this beautiful, awesome girl. We fell for each other real quick. I went to Switzerland and she said she's not really interested in being with an international boyfriend, having that relationship. I didn't have anywhere to go. Like, I didn't have a job because I was planning on figuring that out once I got to Switzerland. So she's like, you gotta go. And I was like, I don't know where to go. So I call my buddy in Kenya. His name's Abdallah, total rock star. The guy is he's a total industrious. He just gets everything done. He says, "What's up?" I say, "I have this idea for an energy storage project that I think could be really cool. Can I come stay with you and work on it?" Now keep in mind, I just had this idea in a flash on a motorcycle ride when I was in Mexico. I thought maybe I could store some of the energy from the excess energy from the alternator in the motorcycle and a battery, take it home and power cell phones and lights. I was like, whoa, and I've been meditating on this. Now I didn't have a job. I was getting dumped.
This is awesome. Yeah, man. All right. So the idea comes to you while riding a motorcycle, and it's basically stemmed, or the genesis of this idea. Now I'm imagining this energy idea that you have of yours is like more large scale than the alternator of a motorcycle or something, right? So but you have this idea. I love it, man. There's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. It's a sign of a brilliant person. So then you have this idea, but of course it's brewing in your mind. You go to Switzerland, you get dumped. Now you're in Nigeria to now revisit your ideas sparked about energy production. Okay. All right. So we're in Kenya with Abdullah.
Yeah. And he just says, come down. No questions asked, because he's that kind of guy. I'll get to the drug and rock bottom part. I'm just painting the picture how I got there. So I show up with a broken heart. Like, this girl wrecked me. I was not anticipating this. And other than Abdallah, I didn't know anybody in Nairobi. And Nairobi is a huge fucking city. I mean, it's busy. There's a lot going on. And when you're a foreigner and you don't know anyone, you feel very much on the outside. So I show up here with a broken heart as a foreigner. I don't know anyone, and Abdallah's always so busy that he's rarely at home, so I'm basically alone when I'm at home. And I don't know how to build this energy storage product anyways. I don't know anything about electricity or circuits or chemistry or whatever. So I'm trying to build something I don't know how to build. I have a broken heart. I don't know anyone. I'm a foreigner. I'm basically alone all the time. But the thing is, by this point, for 10 months, I had been taking tramadol, which is a partial opioid agonist, plays on the same opioid receptors as heroin and morphine, just to a lesser extent. I had been taking that as a way to cope with my life for 10 months.
I remember when I was on heroin and I would get a hold of tramadol and I'm like, ugh, Because it's
You know,
it's like it's not as strong as but it is
yeah, you're
but
like,
it is still a drug.
right, yeah, the partial agonist, you can take as much as you want, but eventually you'll stop getting high and you'll just get sick. Or as I would, I'd get really tired and I'd get blurry vision. But this is something I would do every day. I would wake up, and because in Kenya and Mexico, where I was before, you can get it at a pharmacy without a prescription, right? I would wake up, and the first thing I would do when I got out of bed is go to my little dresser and open up the little sleeve that I had of tramadol, pop 2 tabs, take them, drink it with water, so that by the time I was eating breakfast, it was starting to kick in. And then by the time I was going to this place to work on my project, I was flying. And that's how I started every single day, man. And that's how I had been starting every single day, but no one knew about it.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, that's where this comes into play. I had been doing this for about 10 months when I got there, and 2 more months went by where I wasn't meeting anybody. I was incredibly alone. I was just flubbing about with this project. And I had this huge broken heart, man. And I thought, there was this one morning when it all hit. And I was hungover from drinking the night before, because that's what I do. I drink at night, take the pills during the day, drink at night. Well, I haven't told anybody about this. And I woke up and I looked at myself and I was like, I just don't want to take a pill to be happy anymore. It was one of those moments where you look yourself in the eye and you actually see what's really behind there. You don't focus on anything else. You just like, oh shit, I see you in there. I see you. This isn't you. It doesn't have to be you. And I stopped that day, February 13th, because I couldn't handle it. All the loneliness and broken heart and feeling lost and not having a job and not having a home and still relying on drugs. I didn't know that I was about to walk into the holiest hell of withdrawals that I'd ever experienced, but that's it, man. That moment where you wake up and it all just piles on top of you like an elephant and you're like, I just gotta get out. I gotta get out from underneath this.
So I don't know what the withdrawals. I've been through a lot of withdrawals, but I don't know what that looks like. What does that specifically look like for this situation? Like
Well, you mentioned that you used to use heroin. What was it like when you quit? Did you go through withdrawals?
Well, okay. So, that being said, my heroin use wasn't nearly as bad as the pill addiction. So, which is also an opiate, but just in a cleaner form, right?
Okay.
So, I was doing like 14 plus roxycodone, 30 milligrams a day. I was like snorting like 5 or 6 of those for breakfast. And so those withdrawals felt like I was going to die. But then if you fast forward to when I went through withdrawals from alcohol later on, when I had shifted my addiction, those withdrawals blew the other withdrawals out of the water. And they're also much more serious, meaning that you can actually die. And so I had like several seizures and things of that nature as far as my alcohol withdrawals. So on the scale of all withdrawals, like, the opioids, the opiates were pretty bad. They're pretty bad, man. They were nasty. Like I felt like you were talking about what you were looking at in the mirror, just hopeless and just despair, right? I was looking in the mirror and it was just despair and loneliness. And it was like, holy shit, man. Like I was so void of any kind of a positive or like future thought of the future, man. It was all gone.
Right. It just robs you of any thought of a life beyond the hell that you're in.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. First of all, sorry, man. Sorry you went through that.
What the fuck? Yeah. I mean,
Glad you're on the other side. You know what I mean?
Like it's nasty, but it all had to be for me to get where I am here and now. So what did it look like for you? Like you obviously felt like maybe the similar emotional content that I was just talking about, but what else was going on?
Well, later that day, since I would go to this place where it was a maker space, so I could play around with machines and try to build my project. It was the first day in a year that I hadn't taken my tramadol. So the morning was fine. And then it's like 1 o'clock, man. And I'll never forget it. I'm sitting at a table, a long table, and I have a battery. I'm working with a car battery, playing around with voltages. And suddenly, it was like a rising angry tide inside of me being like, there is a black hole that is about to open up inside of you and swallow you whole. You need to get up and leave this table right now. And I'm sitting there like, I don't know what this is, right? I just thought I was going to quit tramadol and be done, just not taking it anymore. Shows what I knew, right? And I said, no, internally, I'm like, no, I'm busy. I want to keep working. And the voice that came back was, you need to leave now or you're going to freak out. And I thought, okay, all right, fine. And so I'm full of nervous energy, like totally on fire. And I stand up, everybody's looking at me, and I just put my work down, and I'm on the 4th floor, and I don't take the elevator because I can't be still. I can't be still. I walk all 4 floors down to the road, and I walk 45 minutes through the dusty road, like the crowded road with no sidewalks, back to Abdallah's house. Remember, it's like 1 p.m. There's no reason for me to be going home. And the whole way, I'm just like, I'm on fire, mentally on fire. And I know that if I stop walking or if I get in a car, God forbid, like I'll just die. Like I can't be still. Right. So I just keep walking. And I get home and it's 1:45. No one's there. It's like, this is the afternoon. This is not the time to be. It just felt so fucking weird to be home and on fire. And I didn't know what else to do. So I jumped in the shower, put music on, and I was overwhelmed to the point where I just started crying because inside everything beautiful was gone.
Yeah.
You probably know what this is like, where if you're in withdrawals, the seconds are a minute long, the minutes are an hour long. The hours, don't even talk about getting through an hour. Like, you can't even see past the next minute. Yeah. And so I'm sitting on the floor of the shower crying at 1:45 in the afternoon in Kenya. And I'm like, what am I doing, man? What happened to me? How did I, with a broken heart, trying to work on something that I don't know how to do, with no job, no friends? And that was the most brutal loneliness and isolation I ever felt. And then like the funny part about this is, as soon as I stopped crying, which took a little while, I stopped crying, I felt a little better, got dressed, and I went downstairs, and someone else was there. And I don't know where she came from, but she was there, and I just thought, somebody just heard me bawling my eyes out in the shower at like 1:45. I was so embarrassed. Just, hey, I'm Matt. Like, I'm not the guy that was just right down the road, down the hall crying. How are you? And then I kind of black out. The rest of the day is a blur. Man, shit hit the fan.
So who the hell was this person? Who is this person?
It's just one of Abdallah's friends, one of his contacts. I mean, like I said, a man of industry. Okay. He knew everybody. He knows everybody in that city.
It's a gift. I love people like that, man.
Yeah, me too, man. It's a pleasure to know him too.
So, all right. So, okay, now you touched on the tramadol, right? You haven't mentioned anything about the kratom. Was that something that developed later on? You said this is more of a recent thing, right? And like,
yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, hold on a second. So how the hell do we get out of Kenya? Where do we get it? How do we get out of Kenya? Are you still in Kenya? I don't even actually know this.
I'm in an Airbnb in Asheville. I came up here to go to some recovery clinics to talk to them about the Quit Kit, which I'm excited to talk about later on. But
yeah. Okay. So we're not in Kenya.
I'm not in Kenya. I love, bro. You can get into a lifestyle there. So I quit tramadol, but I transitioned right into a life of, dude, I can't believe I'm talking about this, but basically, as soon as I quit tramadol, I started going out and I just went to bars. I was still drinking. And essentially the social queen of Nairobi took pity on me one night and saw me sitting alone, invited me into her clique. And I mean, she was in charge of all the parties for the whole city. Like, she was just that person. And I got plugged into 7 a.m. nights, things that come with that, the kind of lifestyle where you're up late doing drugs with people that you never met in nice neighborhoods. And so my project was over here. My life was going this way in all the wrong direction again, trying to fill the hole of loneliness and a broken heart. And eventually I just like, I can't do this. Like, I can't go down this road. And I left And I went to New York. I was fortunate to get a job that I ended up really hating in New York, but I was fortunate to get that job to get me out of that place.
I see. Yeah. Yeah. The steps,
Yeah.
right? The steps that I guess like, okay, yeah, maybe it wasn't where you ended up in long term, but yeah, but it got you the hell out of where you're at as far as like, because even your friend Abdullah, like he's not there. So you're,
Mm.
like you said, you're alone, right? And also in Kenya. And it's like, all right. And then, I was just talking about this recently is that like when you have like a proficiency for finding hood rat shit, it's like you can find it no matter where, right? Like I was exceptionally good at that. And it's like, it doesn't matter where you could stick me, like, because my mindset was there. I was aligned with those people and what they wanted to do because that's what I wanted to do. So however that looked, meaning the substance being done, used, or, bought, whatever. Like, I mean, it didn't matter. Like I could find that crowd. It didn't matter where it was. And so, all right. So, but you get out of there, you get a position, it got you out of there. But like, all right. So was that it though? Was that like the marker in sobriety? I mean, what were we talking about? 2017. Yeah. Was that it?
Was that from tramadol? That's it. I was still drinking plenty.
Got it. But you did kick that. It's fucking huge, man. Because, and especially not having to go with, rehabs or anything like that. Cause you went that journey alone, brother. Like it's so gnarly. And a lot of people that are probably listening to this, they're probably familiar with how exactly empty you can actually feel. Even if you were to kind of maybe do some objective math at the time, right? Like, okay, there's some people that give a shit about me. And like if you are even able to manage to go down that list of checklists, I used to call it, like to make me feel like I'm not as bad as I felt, but like, it's just so hard. It's so hard if you don't have anywhere to anchor to get your head out of thinking that like, oh yeah, this is I'm in hell. Like you mentioned, it's like the hellish withdrawals. It feels like a real hell. So, well, good on you, man. All right. So then, okay, I guess. All right. So now you did mention you're in an Airbnb right now talking to recovery centers, and then, why? Like, how was that? What's going on there? Like, what are you doing these days? Because I know that you're playing an active role out there helping people out. So, like, why are you in Asheville? Who are you talking to, and what's going on with that?
Yeah, I'm here because out of all the addictions that I got through, I never went to medically assisted treatment. I never went to a center. I never went to meetings. I was always that person that thought, I can do it. I can do it. I don't need a doctor. I don't need a prescription, whatever. Look, I would never say that that's a one-size-fits-all for anybody, but that's the way that I wanted to tackle my kratom addiction. And I'm here to talk to people about the quit kit that I put together, a non-prescription, opioid-free way to manage withdrawals that helped me walk out of my kratom addiction without suffering the brutality of the withdrawals that I just described. Because kratom, man, I work with people all over the country, and I've worked with ex-heroin users, like intravenous heroin users. I just got an email the other day from somebody who said, he went from using intravenous heroin to sobriety for 8 years and then found kratom extracts. And getting off the kratom extracts was way harder than getting off heroin. And that is a common narrative among the addiction support communities online for kratom. And it's like, this guy's trying everything to get off of kratom. He got off heroin.
Right.
Kratom? Right. And kratom is this relatively new, the extracts are relatively new zeitgeist in society. So this is going to be the next epidemic. And if the quit kit can be that thing which helps people who, like me, wanted to try at home before getting insurance involved or putting your name on a medical registry, maybe take that first. It worked for me, and it's worked for a lot of other people because, okay, so coming full circle in that story, he used the quit kit and it got him off of kratom.
Okay.
And, I mean, it's just like, holy shit,
So,
something I made is doing that.
Now, I may be missing a piece here. Is it specifically for kratom, or is it for
opioid use disorder in general?
You did mention that. I'm sorry.
No,
it's a great question. You did mention that.
No.
So, what does that look like? Like, what does that look like as far as what I guess, what does it look like? What is this quick kit? I want to know, like, what would happen? Right?
I wish I could show you the bottles. I've sent them all out, but there are 3 doses. So, okay. So when I was leaving my kratom addiction, I did a lot of research, clinical studies on over-the-counter solutions to combating withdrawals. So not Suboxone and not methadone or anything in between. And there's a voluminous amount of literature out there, clinical trials from around the globe that have shown that X supplement combats Y withdrawal symptom from opioid use disorder. And since kratom has the same effect on your opioid receptors as opioid agonists like heroin, like morphine, I just said, okay, well, if it works for that, maybe it'll work for kratom, right? And then I put together a morning, afternoon, and nighttime regimen with 5 ingredients in the morning, 5 in the afternoon. It just happened to be that way, and 5 in the nighttime. Since this withdrawal symptom will come in the morning, I want this supplement to combat it in the morning. This one's coming in the afternoon, same thing. This one's coming in the nighttime, same thing. So it was basically a lineup giving me armor against what I knew was coming. And it freaking worked, man. It worked.
So is it a sequence? Like how is it sequential, or is it tailored to like what specifically people are dealing with? Like, do you know what I mean?
Like, do you mind telling me a little bit more detail about what you mean?
Yeah, like when you're mentioning like the morning and then the afternoon. How does that look and why? Like why is, I guess you're talking about combating specific things. But so is everybody have like is every quick kit unique, or is it?
Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, it's a really good question. It's just one product. So for example, the morning dose is meant to do 3 things in particular: give you motivation, fight your mental fog, and fight your fatigue. So when you've been abusing opiates or opioids for a while, you've been overacting your opioid receptors for so long that your brain has said, all right, we've been artificially releasing dopamine for no good reason. You're sitting on the couch, you're not chasing rewards, you're not tackling the gazelle, you're not getting the promotion. It's like the brain knows this, and it's like, all right, as you're artificially stimulating this shit, we're going to not only store less dopamine, but we're going to down-regulate your dopamine receptors so that you don't feel as much by taking this false, overexciting drug. So it's like, now you stop taking the drug. What's going to happen? Well, you have less dopamine than you should, and you feel less of it than you should. So one of the primary ingredients in the morning dose is levodopa, and that is the precursor to dopamine. So you take this, your body catalyzes it into dopamine, and it gives your brain like, all right, get up, get out of bed. Don't feel that total like black hole. Nothing's worth it. There's no pleasure. The world is dead to me. This will fight that. And so the morning dose is meant to combat, like I said, motivation, lack of energy, and mental fog. And the afternoon, oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I wanted to hear this, what you're talking about. And then the mental or the afternoon one.
Right. So now you're out of bed, you're able to go get about your day. And afternoon was always when my cravings set in. So it's like I could make it through the mornings all right, but the cravings, that fight or flight, that anxiety, that inability to sit still or focus on anything, it's like, just go use. That would always happen early afternoon for me. And the afternoon dose is meant to give you a sense of calm and relaxation, but primarily focus so that you can sit still and keep going. And it does so.
Kind of like where you fell short with that car battery in that shop, huh?
Yes. Man,
you're trying to do that, and then you just like, your body's like, freak out, man. And it's like, and then you're going down the stairs. Yeah, you're going down the stairs for no damn reason. It's like,
yeah, right, exactly. It's like you feel on fire, but you're like, nothing is happening. Why do I feel this way? There's a very clear reason. It's because your neurotransmitters are overactive because your brain is trying to right the ship, and in the process, it's going to. Well, it doesn't have the right healthy neurotransmitter balance to work with. And so it's going to do what it can. But, all right, so your brain has a primary neurotransmitter inhibitor called GABA. It's down in your like lizard brain area. And GABA gets released when your brain knows that there's overexcitement going on in your neurons and your neurotransmitters. And it tamps that down. GABA comes out and it inhibits neurotransmission. And it makes you feel more calm and allows you to sit still. But when you're in withdrawals and you've been abusing a drug, GABA is in short supply too, and it doesn't know how to properly regulate the release of GABA. So the afternoon dose, in addition to like relaxing agents like ashwagandha and L-theanine, has an ingredient, N-acetylcysteine, that comes in, promotes the release of GABA, tamp down overactive neurotransmitter. I know this is getting super clinical
Nah,
and shit,
man,
but like,
I'm following right along with this stuff, brother. I know what you're putting down here. So, okay, yeah, continue on though. Like, I guess what I mean to maybe keep that 30,000 foot view of like what we're talking about is that the afternoon is specifically to induce a higher level of focus. It's simultaneously applying a level of relaxation to maintain that focus, right?
yeah,
If you don't have a good amount of GABA being produced in your body as a result of it synthetically being tramped upon by whatever drugs you've been doing, right? You will feel that anxiousness, that restlessness. And so in the midday approach here, right, from the quick kit is like, okay, you're going to gain focus, but also be somewhat relaxed in that state. Is that clear?
yes, that's a really good summary.
Right.
Absolutely. Right.
Right. So now maybe what is like, all right, so then the nighttime, like what was coming up for you there that you started developing, like, and then what are
Inability
we
to sit,
knocking up?
well, inability to get deep sleep. Well,
Mm.
if I'm in withdrawals, because I've had some practice, like I tried quitting tramadol several times, like tried quitting kratom several times. If you're in withdrawals, it's nearly impossible to go to sleep. And if you do get to sleep, it's nearly impossible to stay asleep and get that deep wave. Your brain repairs itself most when you're sleeping. And when you've stopped taking an opioid, you really need a mechanic to get under the hood and do his magic, right? So you got to stay asleep. So the nighttime dose, essentially, it's just a knockout punch to get you tired and then to keep you asleep. And there's 5 ingredients that do that systematically, and so you can get that deep wave sleep.
Yeah, I could have used that because one of my approaches, the natural version to get that knockout punch, is like I would just physically exhaust myself. Like I was like, I'm just gonna do jumping jacks and run or swim or whatever. With not what like, oh, I'm exercising. No, I have to expel every ounce of energy that I have so I have a chance at resting. Right. That was my approach. Very hard to do. Like, especially if you're
Yeah,
out of shape.
no
And
kidding.
I was like dying, but it was all in pursuit of getting that rest, right? If getting recovery, right? And so so what you're mentioning is that it's a blend of things that can help you achieve that, right?
Yes, absolutely. And you don't need a doctor for it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't consult your healthcare professional or look into options or whatever, but it's just another option for you if you want to try to do this at home and you're not ready to go to a treatment center. And like I said, I've helped well over 100 people across the country with this stuff because I didn't know it was going to work for anybody when I started. It worked for me. Hopefully, it can help others.
Now, how did you stumble upon it though? Right? Like if I mean, what kind of a thread? I mean, obviously, I'm talking the kind of individual that's riding a motorcycle and imagining how the electricity is being used within that motorcycle that he's riding on. So that's cool. But like, when did you start pulling at the thread to figure out, like, I feel because first of all, it takes a lot of awareness to kind of even realize that these things that you're battling at 3 different times in the day are happening, right? That takes a lot of awareness. And then also, so you're feeling these things. What did you start to, were you journaling these feelings? Like, oh man, well, I know that in the midday, like this kind of happens to me. Like, how were you really like dialing it in so well as far as like what you dealt with at different times?
Actually, it was more of a reverse process. I just dove into the research to see what was out there. And then as I was reading article after article after article, I was like, yes, I've been there. Save that. I've been there, save that. And then I ended up with, like 50 or 60 saved articles. And it all just started to make sense here. This goes there, this goes there, this goes there.
Yeah. And now, and then you've mentioned a couple of times, it's for people that aren't necessarily in the rehab kind of a circumstances. And, and that's tricky too, by the way. Like, I'll have people reach out to me and they're like, I need help, man, or my son needs help. And depending on where you're at in recovery and what you
Mm.
are on and what's going on, and there's a lot of variables to concern. Like I've told people, like, look, you need to go to the hospital. Like you are talking to the wrong person. Like you need to go to a hospital right now. And like that is where you are at, right? Like, and I feel bad because that they're reaching out to me. I'm like, no, no, no. I can help people once they've had some sobriety and maybe want to kind of gain some clarity in their lives or something like that. Right. Like, but but you are very clear, right? You're differentiating between people that like if you're not at the rehab level, right? And like that isn't exactly the path that you are bound for, even whether you're aware or not. But like it's
Mm.
like you're not quite there, right? But you need to do something about this substance abuse, right? And so this is an all natural approach, and I think that it's a really nice differentiation because people can turn this thing around without absolutely all the wheels falling off the wagon. And so that seems to be like a blessing, because that seems like like you have felt what it feels like, but you didn't end up in a Kenyan prison. That's good, right? Like
Did you?
so
Did you?
right. Or like like a Thailand drug trafficking, one of those crazy stories where it's like like you locked
Not
away
yet.
forever
Yeah.
and they're like caning you, whatever. Like it's like, okay, it didn't get like that. So you obviously made the right decisions in your path to turn some things around before you had to be put in a straitjacket or locked away.
No, I
So
appreciate you
this is
saying that.
very valuable, right? This is very valuable. Okay, but this is what you're doing, is that you're like you're kind of you're compiling this stockpile of information from different articles and places like that. So, all right, next question. Where do you find all this stuff? Okay, like
Mm.
I'm gonna start figuring out what helps with this X, Y, and Z. And then, from what you've told me, it's like it's all natural, right? It's like
Yeah. It's not synthetic.
I love it. Yeah, I
Right.
love it. And so, I mean, it seems like a lot of work, man. But you're a
Yeah.
chemical engineer, right? Is that what I
I'm
said?
a chemical engineer with a background in research and program evaluation. So I was able to lean into the many hours I'd spent trying to separate bullshit science from what could probably be valid and reliable science. Because there is a lot of bullshit out there, especially when it comes to supplements. Like I've never been a supplement guy, and I now I am. Now I am because I looked at the proper research. So if you want to, sorry.
No, no, go ahead.
Yeah, if you want to find out more about any of this stuff, the National Institutes of Health, it's a NIH.gov, so it's a government website. They just compile archives of not just United States studies, but from studies around the world. And it's all free. You can just go in there and dig into these astounding medical trials that they spent millions and millions of dollars across all of these studies, just trying to learn, is there a
Yeah.
way? Mice, rats, and humans, trials, double blinds, placebos, panel trials, randomized trials, and then just little samples. It's like, it's all there. And I highly encourage anybody to dig into it because the science is incredible. Like, the fact that something like the precursor to dopamine is accessible on Amazon, like what, and like you can just buy that now, and that would alleviate the anhedonia that makes the world seem less pleasurable if you take it in the right dose at the right time while you're in withdrawals. It's like we are putting together the bricks of like this new house of life. What, I don't know where this metaphor is going, but like the slats of wood on the bridge to the other side. How about that for a better metaphor?
All right. Got it.
It's there, man. It's there. You don't have to. You can make it easy. You can give yourself an advantage. You can give yourself an advantage in this.
Yeah. And well, good on you, man, for reading medical. Like I've tried to read some of that stuff. I've had some experience talking about what you're doing, and it takes a bit of fortitude, by the way. It's not
Yeah.
light reading.
Yeah,
And
it's
if
brutal.
you don't have, it's a skill set to navigate such things. And so I'm very thankful that like you have the ability, right? Because I feel like I'm getting like the notes version, thank God. Because yeah, somebody spends millions of dollars on a
Trust
study,
me.
right? It is not a short read. It is hard. It's like, yeah. So, anyways, well, good on you for that and having that fortitude to kind of differentiate what's useful, what's not, and then put it into place and make it applicable and accessible for people, right? Because that's super important. Well, okay. All right. So, well, I guess tell people what it's like or how are you applying this? Is it is it because you say now you're a supplements guy? Well, what does a quick kit look like? How can you find it? Like, where are you going? You're talking to some facilities right now. Is it only facilities? You know, just let us know like what that process would look like if somebody wanted to get involved.
Sure. So the website is www.tryquitkit.com. So tryquitkit.com. You can get it's a 3-week supply. So it gets you through your acute withdrawals, which would be the first 5 to 7 days as your body's flushing the toxins from your body. And then some runway after that so that you don't suffer like post-acute cravings, post-acute withdrawals, the pause. It gets you through the acutes and into the pause, and it's 3 times a day. So morning, afternoon, nighttime, 3 capsules a day. So I try to make it as simple as possible. Like when you wake up, first thing you do before you eat breakfast, you wake up, you turn to your table, pop 3 capsules of the morning dose. It'll give you that motivation to get up and get about your day. 8 hours later, 6 hours later, with or without food, take the afternoon dose. And then 60 minutes before bedtime, take the nighttime dose. And, I've worked with a bunch of people in withdrawals, and I thought, well, can I still take this? I'm not in withdrawals anymore. Is it going to be, can I still take it? I just want to make sure that it's still, you can feel it, not like some freaking multivitamin placebo and it's not all bullshit out there. So I tried it again, and it's like, yeah, you feel this, man. And I think that's the real difference. We're so used to tapping into addictive poisons to feel something like an alcohol will play on your opioid receptors, release dopamine, heroin will play on it and kratom and stuff. And it's like, Quick Hit is never going to get you high, but it will absolutely fill in some of the gaps where your energy is missing, where your clarity is missing, and your ability to be functional in the world around you is missing. One of the earliest use cases I had from this poor guy, one of the earliest adopters of the Quick Hit, he was a new dad. He's younger than me by like 5 years. We got in contact. He said, I'm about to have a daughter, and I can't stop taking these kratom shots. I'm taking them every single day, and I just want to be sober for my daughter. And I can't, and so I can't go to a treatment center. I can't get Suboxone. My wife has no idea. I can't leave work. And it's like, these are the kind of cases Quick Hit is designed for. It's when you got a private addiction, and I get it. My addictions were absolutely painfully private in the worst kind of way. This is the kind of thing where you can say, all right, this is actually going to work. Like, this is going to, it's not going to be some placebo effect. And then I'm out here at the recovery centers because once the detox has taken place for, they work with pills and heroin and now more and more kratom. You can use this as a complement to your aftercare and outpatient treatment services. It's something that can come in on the tail end and say, now that it's all gone, you have to go back into the world. Don't just take some B vitamins or a multivite. It's like, no, give yourself something that gives you armor against what you might have to deal with as your brain rebalances. It's all essentially all it is.
No, it's supportive. It's supportive. And that's very cool. And I'm glad that you said that, right? Because I was talking about somebody, if they were like needed to go to rehab, then maybe this wouldn't be an avenue, right? Because like I was talking about, like some people that's like, even you're gonna need like, you're gonna need some serious treatment, right? So, but now after that has done, right, and you're kind of coming out, it's a bridge, right? The wooden slat bridge that you just talking about,
the metaphor.
The wooden slat bridge. And so once you get out, right, and so you're like a little bit worried, okay, like, all right, well, now I don't have the support of the facility. I don't have all of their fancy drugs to kind of curb some of these withdrawals, right? So, well, now what do I do? I'm on my own. And it's like, okay, well, you can lean on this.
Yes,
you can get a little bit of support, and it can alleviate and probably increase your chances of a successful recovery, is what I think.
Fear is such a motivator for us to fall back on our bad habits. And when you go from a safe environment like a detox facility back to wherever you're about to go, fear can creep up and say, I don't think you're ready for sober life. Like, you just did that, right? But sobriety might be harder than you think. Just go take a break from sobriety for a second. But if you have something else, Quick Hit or whatever, it might be running, it might be anything.
Right. Yeah.
That combats that fear. then there's no way to overstate how important that is.
Yeah, no, I did. I think that's super, super helpful. Yeah, it's very cool. And when you put that together for me, so I could see it like the applicability for somebody that's, because man, I've been in all of those places, all of those stages. And so when you say that to me, yeah, I can see the usefulness there. Because I was such a severe, I was just like way over the top with everything, really. Like I was that guy. I needed rehab. I didn't like, and so if maybe you were presenting something this like as a solution at that phase of my life, I would have been like, yeah, right. I'm a wreck. I'm going to go into like withdrawal so bad that this is going to get nasty and I could die. Like, okay. But I don't know how many times I've gotten a little window of sobriety, right? A little window. And if I had something to lean on to get rid of that fear, and that sent you right back into the hole of addiction, right? If I had a bit of support to bridge it, right? When I got out, like, I couldn't tell you how many times I got out of a mental hospital and now I'm dry, but I'm still an addict. So there's not really, and I'm standing there in the street and I'm like,
right. You're like,
and I look around and I'm like, I got to get some booze. And like, I'm thinking like, oh, I got to steal it or I got to call, that's all I'm doing. And so if there's something to kind of hit those brakes and alleviate some of the fears and alleviate some of those thoughts and help kind of continue that momentum that you'll get from a facility, dude, that's money, man. That is so, so, so good, man. That is very huge.
I appreciate you saying all that, man. I really do. I can't believe this is my life, dude. When I was 18, look, who would have thought this is what I do?
The power source never got off the ground?
Man, it's still a good idea for anybody who wants to do this. The motorcycle puts out way more energy than it uses. You can store that and bring it into your home. I swear that's $1 million billion idea. Go for it.
I still got hope for it. I love that,
just
man.
Open source. Go for it.
Yeah, you're like, hey, man, like, look, it wasn't my journey, but somebody's going to hit it, man.
Go for it.
Maybe Elon's listening and he's like, shit.
Yeah.
Figured out my motorcycle idea. Well, no, listen, Matt, I just say it again though. And I'm gonna put it all in print when I produce the episode and stuff like that. But just tell everybody where they can find you and stuff like that, brother.
Sure. You can find the product at tryquitkit.com. You can email me directly at Matt, M-A-T-T, Matt at tryquitkit.com.
Right. All right, man. Well, listen, guys, this has been another episode of The Next Fix. This is Matt Boecklin. Yeah, he's a warrior out there on our side. And so it's always a blessing to have these conversations with guys out there like doing the work. And so, yeah, until the next one. See you.